Hello and welcome to Beyond Serenity. The twin flame journey is an out-of-this-world experience which leaves most divine feminines in a state of bewilderment, desperately trying to make sense of the strange events playing out in our lives. Each one of us is here for a unique soul's experience with individualized lessons and growth to move through. And the journey will unfold differently for everyone, with no absolutes or black and whites. However, as divine feminines, regardless of whether you physically reside in a male or female 3D body, there's a common underlying purpose and pattern of phases we all seem to move through in some form or variation as we travel the twin flame ascension path. As we delve into exploring the common phases of the twin flame journey, it's important to be aware that this is your ascension and this is not a linear pathway. Rather, it unfolds in multidimensional waves and spirals. The order and duration of stages we move through is not necessarily fixed, and there is often overlap as divine feminines shift back and forth between the various phases. In the initial stages of us becoming consciously aware of this journey, divine feminines are catapulted into a rapid ascension process through an activating experience with our divine masculine. This generally occurs through some form of a relatively brief encounter with our twin, in some variation of a phase which is often termed as bubble love. The specifics of how this activation phase plays out varies for each set of divine counterparts. Quite often, it occurs through a relatively short relationship, ranging from just a few weeks to a few months. However, for some, there may not even be a face-to-face meeting in the physical. And for others, the activation occurs after years of knowing and potentially even already being in a long-term relationship with your divine counterpart. However it plays out, it is during this phase that divine feminine unknowingly experiences the powerful activation, most often through her divine masculine's eyes and voice. And the intense energy between the divine counterparts begins to build. While being bombarded with signs and synchronicities, and an unexplainable feeling and out-of-this-world connection to her divine masculine, divine feminine will also start to feel the building of fear and the energetic pulling away of her divine masculine. Once the energy reaches a peak intensity, the energetic wall between the counterparts comes barreling down, and the twins are pulled into separation. At this point, divine feminine is catapulted full force into dark night of the soul and ego death, and she begins the process of her Kundalini awakening. The intensity of powerful emotional oscillations that rise and move through her can hit hard and fast, sending her spiraling into a sea of despair, confusion, anger, and feelings of abandonment, betrayal, and utter loss. She finds herself broken on the floor in a state of complete hopelessness and desperation, as her entire life seems to crumble around her. The falling apart of her reality extends beyond her divine masculine and reaches all areas of her life, including other relationships, finances, career, living situation, and health. This stage is grueling. It feels never ending, and it is incredibly hard on Divine Feminine at every level, including her mental, emotional, and physical body. To add to her bewilderment and pain, while Divine Feminine moves through the excruciating experiences of ego death, she is bombarded with obsessive thoughts of her Divine Masculine, which seem to incessantly haunt her day and night. His or her silence in the physical world is deafening. However, in Divine Feminine's mind, Divine Masculine's presence seems to grow exponentially. No matter where she goes or what she does, her Divine Masculine is always ever present, continually flooding her with relentless thoughts and emotions. All attempts at breaking free, whether it be distraction, cord cutting, or trying to move on with another relationship, are all futile. And Divine Masculine will simply not leave Divine Feminine's head. It is normally during this stage that Divine Feminine, feeling like she must be going crazy, and in a desperate attempt to figure out the strange experiences she's moving through, comes across and begins to resonate with twin flame information. At first, it's a relief to discover that she's not alone in her experiences, and to receive the confirmation that there is in fact something far more to this connection than simply a romantic relationship. However, it's not long before the obsessive thoughts and behaviors shift onto addictions to consuming twin flame information and seeking answers to understanding and validate that she is in fact on this journey. Doubt is a massive component on the twin flame ascension path, and looking for confirmations that she has met her divine counterpart, replaying and overanalyzing the stories in her mind, comparison of her journey with that of other divine feminines, and seeking out reassurance of if and when union will occur through various avenues such as psychic readings, tarot cards, or signs and synchronicities, are all very common for divine feminines and can leave us looping in a perpetually repeating cycle of pain. At some point, the pain of looping in this phase of the journey becomes too much to bear, and divine feminine hits a state of exacerbation, realizing that if she wants to shift some big changes within herself and her approach to navigating this connection need to be made. It is from here that she can begin her transition into a state of acceptance, detachment from physical form, releasing of the stories, surrender, and leaning into the journey. This is where the beauty and the magic of inner union begins to slowly unveil itself, ever so gradually, and divine feminine's life begins to shift in a whole new direction. She begins to realize that all the pain and loss was an integral part of her growth, and she begins to detach from the physical form of her divine masculine, embodying the knowingness that she is always energetically one with her divine counterpart. She begins to align with her soul's true essence, purpose, and mission. And her entire life and sense of self begins to slowly shift through a series of magical transformations. Feelings of unconditional love for self and others, experiences of pure states of peace and joy, realizations of her interconnection with the unseen realms and her powerful abilities of creation, embodiment of the ever-present energetic connection with her divine masculine, and an unwavering trust in how things are unfolding all begins to grow. This is not a process that happens overnight. Rather, there's a gradual unveiling and integration as she oscillates between the pain and the trauma of her old dense life and her new higher vibrational states of being, which are characterized by the bliss of oneness and inner union. In time, the more she surrenders and leans into the process, the more her physical reality begins to catch up, and she's able to just simply be, observing with a silent smile as all the confusing unfoldments of this journey slowly start making sense, and the beautiful life she is creating for herself begins to materialize in a way far more magical than anything she ever expected. Until next time, with unconditional love.